How are you going, Johnny?
Really well, yeah.
That is great to hear. We were just put through to you on Triple J Breakfast. Do you feel as though you've been put through?
I do a little bit, yeah. I've just had a very exciting Japanese breakfast, and I'm in Japan, and that's it.
Now, Johnny, I saw you guys live in Australia 6 years ago, it must have been. If you could say there's one difference between the Radiohead we'll see in a couple of weeks and the Radiohead of 6 years ago, what's the one major difference between those two bands?
Oh, I suppose that we're having more fun, I think, now, and enjoying what we do. I don't know, what is this? We're older, you know, and I don't know, it's a really hard question to answer, I'm afraid.
When you say more fun, John, have you got have you got better comedic writers in, or are you playing more practical jokes on each other? How is it more fun?
It's just that I think we appreciate what we're getting the chance to do now, and before it just felt like we were a little bit just doing promotion all the time, whereas now it just feels that we're playing concerts, and that's the middle of everything that we do, and it's great. It's a great feeling. Well,
in that fun attitude, I notice when they always refer to your role in the band, they always say things like, guitar, keyboards, but as you go down the list, they always mention sound effects. Is that an area where you could actually, you could get a bit more fun? You could just bring in some more wacky sound effects to some of the songs?
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, I always get a little bit suspicious of getting too obsessed with how things sound, because you can often just forget about the music behind it. So it's got to be a combination of the two things, hasn't it, really?
For example, Johnny, a sound effect that's always fun is your whoopee cushion. You're sort of...
Right.
Now, don't tell me in the middle of, in that Paranoid Android where it's just crank along and then you bring it down and then it's all ethereal for a second. Just a quick...
Yeah.
I'm not saying it would have worked.
Right.
I'm not saying for a second it would have worked, don't get me wrong, but it would have been fun.
Maybe I can find a good MIDI electronic one in Australia.
Just drop it in one of the gigs.
Yeah.
I'd just love to see what Tom did if you just...
Yeah.
That's officially the sound of somebody humouring you and trying to back away from a telephone.
Exactly.
That's that second bit I liked. Yeah.
Now, I noticed that you guys are playing on the same bill as the Pixies in Coachella. Is that something you're excited about?
Oh, it's it floors us. I remember driving around our hometown when we were at school with Tom and him just playing the Pixies over and over again and saying, this is how we should sound, this is what we should be making music like, and that's when we were 16. So it's the real buzz.
What about any act from any time? If you guys could go back 20 years, 50 years, 600 years, and set up a bill, would you with Mozart or something like that? If you could actually see anyone going at it live, who would you like to see, Johnny?
At it live, tricky, isn't it? I don't know, Miles Davis or something, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
For live music, yeah, I think so. Kind of thing.
Well, the great thing about Radiohead is that you've been able to be so experimental with your sound and sort of take influences from a lot of different areas. If you could just go completely off the ball and go in a really brand new direction, what would be just fun to do? Could you ever imagine the Radiohead rap album or something like that?
I don't know. We kind of look at what we do as being fun, and also a lot of it is meant to be quite funny. I think people sometimes miss that. So fun for the sake of it. It's all fun, isn't it? It's all good.
With the stuff that you do, and obviously a part of that, the way it's received, is the just intense respect that your fans have for the band. Is it sometimes an interesting spot to be in when you've got a lot of your fans, like, it's beyond liking the band. We're talking hero worship stuff and phenomenal respect. What effect does that have on you as performers, both putting out an album and being there on stage, just knowing how intensely some people get into it?
It's actually quite easy to stand outside of, because we're all, as a band, we're quite intense about it in a way, and that we'll listen obsessively to our recordings, but you don't really feel like they're anything to do with you. It's that you're quite detached from it because there's 4 other people involved. It's not like you're just listening to yourself. So it's that thing of where you think Radiohead is a really good band, even though you're in them, but it's you forget that you're anything to do with it, really. I mean, it's partly to do with the fact that Tom sings so well and writes these amazing songs. Means that you can just get quite excited about it, rather than worrying about whether what you've done is any good, because it's one step removed all the time.
You talk about Tom, but one of my favourite bits off "Hail to the Thief," the new album, is actually the very first moment of the album with the plugging in of the guitar. And now, is that Tom? Is that you? Is that you, Jonny?
It is, yeah. I mean, that's the first song we recorded for the record, and the first time we played it, and all that kind of stuff, and that's why it felt like a good start, really. And it's the first sound we made, obviously. And
the plugging into the guitar, how many takes? Did you nail that first time, Jonny, or did that take a bit of work?
I think we hired about 17 guitars just to get the right,
Nigel Godric was in the studio for 3 days, just tweaking it.
Yeah, he was actually. Horribly close. Yeah.
He goes, we can't do this one in LA. We've got to do this one in a country house,
yeah,
just for the ambience.
That was a session player, actually, for that.
Yeah, and he got his £50 and he can go now.
Sure, he did.
Now, when you're in Australia doing your gigs, you're not here for that long performing. Here 4 or 5 days stretches the sort of span of the concerts. But are you, if an Aussie fan was to bump into Jonny from Radiohead somewhere other than on stage, where's an unlikely spot we could find you when you're just kicking back on tour?
Oh, it's not unlikely though, really. But I'd probably be in vinyl shops and stuff, looking for records if there is such a thing in Sydney. So, I don't know. That's about the only place, really.
So it's one of those things that even though, because they say about like some people like chefs and whatever, that if you're a great chef, the one thing you don't have an interest in when you're not working is food. That's
right.
Obviously not true for you.
It's sadly not. No, I mean I wish I had more colourful interests, but there's just a lot of music to still find, really. So that's what I enjoy.
Let's ask a food question about the band.
Sure.
If all the members of Radiohead, right, you can double date, you can see. If you guys were going on a sort of quintuple date, right, all got this big dinner party, you're all trying to impress these special ladies. Who in the band would cook?
Colin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Why is that?
Oh, he's just obsessive cook, and he's great. You should ask him about it. He makes everything.
So
he even makes his own mayonnaise. That kind of level of cooking.
Right. So if Colin was cooking for the dinner party, what was your role? What would be your role at the dinner party?
Oh, probably sort of collecting people's coats at the entrance and then going to bed early, kind of thing. Like the sort of 11-year-olds. That would be me, probably.
Excellent. And Tom's doing the washing up, I presume.
I would hope so. I would hope so, yeah.
The moody
kind of thing. Like the sort of 11-year-olds. That would be me, probably.
Excellent. And Tom's doing the washing up, I presume.
I would hope so. I hope so, yeah.
The moody front man over the sink, just scrubbing.
Yeah. Phil would be great with chopsticks, being a drummer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you written any of this up front, or is it just... Anyway, you carry on.
These... You're actually talking to a computer program, Jonny, that analyses your responses and then responds with the next...
It's good. It's great material.
You're directing the interview at the moment.
I might. That's my feeling.
And so what would you like to talk about next, then?
I don't know. I mean, I think whoopee cushions is probably the cultural highlight so far, but carry on. There must be, when you're doing a press over and over again, and obviously you have to talk to a lot of different people. What's the most unusual question you've ever been asked, and what's the one question that you wish you never would get asked again? Oh, we actually get that question all the time. So it's very self-referential, but we're always being asked, what's the one question you've never been asked, and what would you like to be asked? So that's a question about not being asked a question that we're always being asked about. So, and you've just done it.
I get the impression that question was the answer to both of the questions contained within the question, yeah?
No, that was me avoiding both questions.
Excellent. Let me ask you a completely different question, Jonny.
Okay.
When your shows are more than just get up and play the songs, you create the entire the space. There's a real sense of being there, the visuals and everything. So when you're on stage in Australia, are you in any way aware that you're in Australia when you're actually playing the concert? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course. It's only in America that you start to forget, because a lot of the venues are miles out the cities, and they're kind of all quite anonymous. But I think Australia is it's so rare that we go there, you know. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to kind of go on and say hello Peru or anything. I hope it'll all be.
You're talking about being in Japan at the moment. Is it a weird cultural experience to have a group of people who don't necessarily speak, you know, English as their first language, singing along to songs in that language?
Yeah, they don't tend to do that very much in Japan, actually. They just listen very closely. So yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's lots of great French music, and I don't really know what the words are about. So I don't think language is really such a problem.
And have you ever had the situation a lot of musos do of someone coming up and saying, look, this song, it just moved me so much, and quoting the lyric, and they've got the lyric completely wrong?
No, not at all, actually. I don't know why that is. I suppose it's you know, since the internet, people can just find the lyrics and
yeah.
know what they all are now. I mean, it even goes the way around, where we've, during, you know, rehearsals for concerts, Tom's forgotten the lyrics and had to go to fan sites to see what the lyrics are. So if they've got them wrong, then we've got them wrong too.
And look, I know this has seemed to be a bit of a weird interview, so I think I'll go with even a weirder question, if that's all right, Jonny. My girlfriend Amy is probably, you know, Australia's biggest Radiohead fan, just absolutely nutty for the band, but is a very big Jonny Greenwood fan in particular. If you could just say something nice to a girl called Amy, that'd pretty much make her entire life. Would that be okay?
I mean, I wouldn't know what to begin to start to say to her, but she sounds delightful. Yeah, I don't. That is the strangest question. Well done.
You've now topped.
You win.
Okay, well, I think I can go one better, Jonny, if we're on weird questions. I have, in common with Tom, I also have a wonky eye.
Right.
Now, I often talk about how I'm completely cool with it, and people feel really defensive about pointing it out to me. I'm relaxed with it. I've had it all my life, that sort of stuff. And I often think of Tom as an honorary member of the Wonky Eye Club. What's Tom like about the... Is he cool with that?
Yeah, you know, I suppose so. Never really asked him. Yeah, that's strange too. Yeah, he's fine, I think. You know, you would have to ask him.
I might do that if I get the chance. I'll bring along the delightful Amy.
Yeah, and just shout it at him. From where are you coming to any of the shows then?
Oh, we're there.
Which one?
I'm going to the first of the Sydney shows.
Okay, great.
And yeah, I'm actually going to all 4 shows.
Yeah. Will and the delightful Amy, you'll be seeing a fair bit of them, Jonny, don't you worry.
Yeah. I can't wait. That's great.
I bet.
Thank you very much for your time this morning. Australia is very, very excited about the fact that you're coming to play here.
Yeah. I mean, we're returning a bit sheepishly, I think, after leaving it so long. But you know, but we're excited all the same.
You be sheepish, be whatever you want to be. Just get here, because we're absolutely cranking for it, and we can't wait to see Radiohead in Australia. Thanks a lot for your time, Jonny.
Sounds good. Nice to talk to you.
Have yourself a great time in Japan, and we'll see you here soon.
See you later. We'll see you, Adam.
Okay, bye-bye.